In yesterday's session, we discussed and we created models. And we created a model. Model is always having some data. That data we have to pass to view. Can I pass model data to a view directly? As per our MVC, we cannot. A model will never communicate with our view file directly. It is impossible. Now what we did, whatever the model you created, that model was loaded into a controller. There is blog model and all. This is a blog model we created. It is having one method yesterday. This data, whatever this method is returning, it is returning some data. This data we have to send it to a view. Why I have to send to a view? Because a view is the responsible person to display the data here. That's why I have to send this data to a view. But as a model, can I send the data to directly a view? It is impossible. That's the reason. Whatever the model you created, that model was loaded into your controller. This is the way of loading a model. Once the model loaded, what is the name of the model? Blog model. The blog model was loaded here by using model library. After loading the model, we are calling the model method. What is the model method we have? There is a method get all blocks. This is the way of calling a method which is inside a model class. What is our class? Block model. Block model contain a method called get all blocks. Remember carefully. This is very important. So anyhow, so once we call this method, what this method is doing here, this method is returning the data. Whatever the data is returned, right? Once you call this method will return the data. The returned data I am saving into a variable, an associative array. Why I am saving this into an associative array? Because we have to pass this data to a view, right? A view we have to pass. That's the reason we saved it as an associative array that I am passing to the view. This is the view we created after that. Now this is the blog view, and first we are checking is there articles or not. If articles are there, we are iterating and we are displaying them. Otherwise, we are displaying a message. Sorry, no records found. This is what we see. What is this communication? Simply says model controller view communication was there, right? Now, in today's session, I want to talk about we are going to create a view. Inside the view, you are going to enter some data. I mean, let us create a form, guys, small form. In that form, you are going to enter email and password. Simple form. I don't want to make a very complex form, guys. Whatever the data we are entering in the view, the data should be transferred to a model, guys. This is the model. Why should I transfer the data to a model? Because we know that as for MVC, who will insert the data from data? Who will insert the data into database model? Who will select the data from database model? So can I send this view data to model directly? It is impossible. So in the middle, what we need to do, we have to bring the concept called controller. Did you see the vice versa? Yesterday, model to view, we passed data. Today, from view, we are going to pass the data to a model. Let us see how these things will be worked together. Okay, right. So now, if you want, you can go diagrammatically. Let me simply explain you. This is a good thing to go some better practice always. And this is the browser. Take this as a browser. And here our architecture diagram again. So this is our architecture diagram. So generally we know that this is our database yesterday we seen, right? Remember, first thing in the browser URL address, what the user is going to type? User is going to type a form, guys. Whatever the form it may be. Let me take one browser URL, localhost, http://localhost/news/ we have to pass some controller, right? Let me create one controller name called my form. Understand? What is the name of it? My form is your controller. Generally, what is the first segment of the URL? Always we have to pass the controller name. So when you are entering my form in the browser, so now immediately the request will come here, guys. In the request, who will receive the request, guys? First, the receive request by the controller here. This is what the controller, guys. Done, right? So exactly, you can go here. You can take something called controllers. Inside this controllers folder, what is the file we have to create? It will look for a file myform.php, right? What this needs to do, it has to load a view, right? So definitely let me create a view here. So this is going to be a view, right? In this view, we are going to create one file, myform view, or anything. You can name it anything, guys, no problem. I'm talking about this is the views folder. Right? In this views folder, you are going to create one file, my form underscore view, whatever it may be. What name of the file could be your choice. I'm saying you right many times, right? Now, once the user requested in the browser, what we need to do, this is our browser, right? We are already SCR browser, right? Request was received by the controller. In this myform controller, we have to load this particular view, guys. Remember carefully, this particular view is going to be loaded. After that, request will come back to the same, and it has to go to the browser. This is what the 1, 2, 4 steps. What I want to say here, this is the first step. Okay, this is the second step, and this is the third step. After that, response should go to the controller, right? This is the fourth step, is rendering the data into the browser. The view is going to be rendered into the browser. Done, guys. First, let me implement this. We don't have model right now. Model will come into the middle of the our picture, guys. So our flow, right? So let me do one thing. First, let me go to the view, and view we have to create, or you can create a controller also, no problem. First, let me create a view, my form view. Right? Let me create a view, guys. Here, what is we are doing? First, we have to enter some data in the view. The data should be sent to model with the help of controller. This is what we are going to see now. Let us see, guys. HTML open, HTML close. Tell me please, what is the name of the view? My form view. This is going to be my form underscore view.php. Name of the file is going to be this is. Let me create a basic form, guys, here. Nothing but in the form we are entering some data. The data should be transferred to your model. Basic form handling. Body type open, body type close. Here, the main thing here, whatever the data we are entering in the form, the data should be transferred to a model, guys. We have to create a form tag open, form tag close, right? Definitely. And form method by default post, guys, here. So I'm not by default, I'm assigning this action is going to be empty. If you can give empty, where it will go? It will be into the same page. I mean, wherever you are requesting this form, wherever you are loading this file to that controller, the data was posted. I will show you. Wait for a minute. Right, guys. Here, let me take username. One break tag here. Input type equal to text. Name equal to uname. Let me have one more break tag here. This is going to be email. Input type equal to name, text, and name equal to email. And we need to have a submit button also. For submit button, we don't need any label, guys. Let me remove this. This is the form we created. For this, I'm giving you some value equal to save. Okay. Here, submit button, I'm just going to provide you submit or anything. You can take the button name, anything. And here, actually, I'm going to take this as a submit button, name as submit. Type is submit, guys. Now, for this, we don't require any label, right? Let me remove the label as well. This is the form I just created, and we have to see the preview of this form. Yes or not, right? If it is a normal HTML file, we can directly open into the browser and we can see the output of it. But it is MVC. In MVC, can I call this view directly to the browser? No. Then definitely, whatever the view you create, that view should be loaded into your controller. For this, I'm going to create one controller, guys. What is the controller name? My form. Go to controllers and save the class file name as my form.php, myform.php. What is our class name? Myform. Class myform extends CI underscore controller. Rule that every controller needs to follow with the CI controller. CONTROLLER controller. Done. So create one function, index function, public function index. Then all of you, index function was created because it will load automatically, right? To this index function, I have to load the view. Let me load the view. This off. Can we call the view directly? Impossible. That's why I'm loading the view here. This off load of view. What is the view name, guys? My form my form underscore view. This is the name of the view. Now you can simply open the browser, call this my form, index method will get called automatically. Localhost slash news slash, what is the controller name? My form. Simply hit enter. This is the form, guys. Now you are going to enter some data inside of it. I am entering some data and you are submitting. On submit, the form was posted, guys. Where is data? Data was submitted. Where it went, right? The data was posted to the same controller, right? Where did you load the view? You loaded the view inside index method, right? The data was also posted to same page. For the confirmation, let me print R here. I'm going to data underscore post, guys. Try to see. I'm just printing it. Initially, we don't have anything. You can see an empty array. You are able to see an empty array now? Right. Now enter some data. I mean, this is the proof. Just I'm showing you whatever the data you are entering in the form, where it will go. Because remember, what is the form action here? Form action is empty. Means we know that if we can give an empty action, it will be submitted to same page. What is same page in CodeIgniter? Nothing but where are you loading this view? You are loading this view into index method, right? Again, once you submit the form, the data was posted to same method called index, guys. Now data was not there. Now you can submit it. This array is empty initially. Now after submitting, can you see the array is having some data? Uname, hello world, email, something, and name of the submit button also came. Right? So did you got it, guys? Once you submitted the data, where I'm able to print, I'm able to print within the index method only, right? So once the form submitted, we have to collect the data and we have to pass the data to the model, right? Yeah, we have to pass the data to model, guys. Now this is the view, right? After that, once the form is submitted, how do I know form is submitted or not? Simply, I'm writing one small condition here. It's like our core PHP, if it is set. Actually, this is not the process, guys, actually. So in CodeIgniter way, we have to get the data, but just I'm writing this core PHP way, no problem. You can write core PHP also here. Underscore post of name of the submit button. What is the name of the submit button? Name of the submit button is submit only. Okay, this is submit. Just you can give it. If the form submitted, we can get the data, and the data we have to send it to. Where we have to send this, guys? The data should be sent to your model. Let me print this now. This time print underscore R of dollar underscore post. Initially, we can see any type of array. Are you getting anything? No, you are not getting anything. Enter the data. I'm entering and submit this. On submit, now you are getting the data. I mean, the same story, what we will do in the core PHP, the same we are also doing here. But this is not the way of getting data in CodeIgniter. CodeIgniter, there is a library to get the form data. There is a library to validate the form data also. Later we will see forms and form validation, how to collect the form data and how to save the form data. We will see it later. My intention is here, collect the data from the form and send it to model. I'm collecting the data. So here $name equal to dollar underscore post of, what is the name of the thing? Uname. This is going to be uname, done. Dollar email equal to dollar underscore post of, we are collecting the data, right? Uname, this is going to be the email, right? We collected data. Now after collecting the data, we have to send this data to model now. Did you create any model to handle this form data? As of now, you didn't create any model, guys. Let me go my form model. I'm going to create one model called my form model. So here, all of you try to see my form model. This is the name I'm going to use there, my form model.php. This is the file. So this is the model file we have to create. Inside of it, I'm going to create one function, guys, save function. What this save function needs to do? Whatever the data we are collecting here, this data needs to save by this function, guys. Understand? Then, for example, let us assume you created this model. If you can create this model, how can I load this model, guys, here? Simply, let us assume you created already, but I didn't create. Let us assume you created the model. This of load of model. What is the model name, guys? Tell me, please. Let us assume you created my form model. Yes, you created this. What is the method inside of it? This of save method, right? How can we call the save method? Your class name. This is my class name. Exactly. What is the name you provided here? The same name you have to take. If you can use all small letters, for example, you can give it no problem. My form model. If you can do all small, here also you have to give all small. This is very important. My form model. Understand? my form model. In this, we have a method called save method. To this save method, we have to pass these two variables as a data, guys, parameters. Did you see? I'm passing $name, comma, $email. Now what happened, once you submit the form, you are collecting it. After collecting it, I'm loading the model. After loading the model, to that model, I'm passing the data, guys. Now you are going to create my form model, right? Let us create my form model. Model is not there now. Let me save the file. Go to save this file into models folder. This is our models folder. Now my form model.php. What is your class name? Save the file first. Save the file, and after that, class my form model extends CA underscore model. This is what exactly we have to do it. Done. My form model extends CA underscore model. So inside of it, what is the method we have to define, guys? Save method, public function save. This is going to be a public function save. It has having two parameters, $name, comma, $email. So why? Because you are passing the data to the save method with the two parameters, right? You are passing the data. So you have to create a method with the two parameters, because you are passing, for example, if you have mobile number, you have to get mobile, and the third parameter should be mobile. When you are creating the method, it has to create it with the three methods, guys. Right. So now this is done. In this, just I'm not doing anything, just I'm printing data collected. So just I'm printing $name, comma, $email are collected. Simply I'm writing a message or COLLECTED collected. If you enter the data and if you submit, actually what we need to do, actually we have to insert the data, but we don't know how to insert the data as of now. Wait for some time. Later in the sessions, I will show you how can we connect with the databases and all, guys. Database configuration, we will see. Here, the flow is important for understanding the better practice. So now you can see, now what we loaded here, we are able to see a view, not a model, guys. We are able to see a view. In this view, you are entering the data. After entering the data, once you submit it, where are you going? Once the view is submitted, this data will be go to the empty action, means that it will go to the same page. After that, here I'm checking this condition, is submitted, is form is submitted or not. If it is submitted, we are collecting. After collecting, I'm loading the model. After that, I'm passing the data to my model, guys. Now can we see if we can submit, a message will be printed. Where is the message I printed, guys? Here I printed. Actually, you are not the person to print the data here. You cannot print the data here. What you have to do, guys, here, you have to insert the data. But right now we don't know any database connection, right? That's why I'm just printing for the confirmation whether the model is receiving the data or not. This is my confirmation. Let me submit this. Can you see hello world rom@mail.com are collected in the model? So what did you understand? My intention is here, I was able to pass the data. I was able to pass the form data to model, guys. Now actually model what needs to do? Model needs to insert the data to database now. Right, this is what exactly, whatever the data we are entering in the form, remember carefully, first we created a form. This form should be displayed into the front end. It cannot be displayed automatically. That's why we loaded into a controller. This is the view loaded here. Once the view loaded, we have to submit the form. After submitting, we have to collect the data, right? How do I know whether the form is submitted or not? In core PHP, generally we will write this condition, whether form is submitted or not. If form is submitted, collecting the data. After collecting the data, only I'm loading the model. Without data, without form submission, why should I load a model? It's a simple question, right? So there is no data or there is no form submission. If form submission and data is not available, why should I load a model? See what I'm doing here. After submitting the form, after collecting the data, I am loading the model. My data is ready to pass to model. I'm passing the model method. What this model method will do? Model method will save the data into database. The same my form model. You may have one doubt also here. Sir, my form model, we used M capital, F capital, M capital again, FM, MFN. Did you see? But I am using like this. No problem, guys. While loading, you can use the same name or you can use, but a very important thing, for example, if you are using my form model like this and you are loading something like this, this is you are doing, right? You are loading something like, no, it will give you an error. The naming convention is very important. Now you can submit the data. It is giving you some error. My form model is not there, undefined property. How did you load the property? M capital, F capital. While you are accessing also, you have to do it. This is a strict rule here in our models. With what name? See, the name of the model may be in capitals or lowercase letter, but how did you load here while you are loading? The same manner you have to call the all of your model methods, guys. Check this carefully, or else always follow one thing. What is the name of the class you provide here? Provide the same name, same case, no problem at all, without having any confusion here, right? So this is how we can load a model, guys. I think you guys may understand. I'm asking you, I'm requesting you, try to watch the previous video and try to watch this video also. You will get how a model and a view will communicate each other. In last session, what we did, we have some data in the model. The data was needs to pass to a view. And remember, view can communicate a model, or a model can communicate a view directly. It is impossible. What we did, whatever the data we have in the model, the data was passed to controller. Controller is passing the data to a view. In today, we created a view. In the view, we are entering some data. Whatever the data you are entering in the view, am I sending the data to a model directly? No, we cannot communicate. A view cannot communicate to model directly. That's the reason what I am doing here. Whatever the data we are having in the view, once the form submitted, we are collecting. After collecting that, I'm sending the data to model. Where are you collecting? In a controller. So this is the controller. So once the view, this is we are rendering the view. Once after that the form is submitted, this condition will becomes true. We are collecting the data. After collecting the data, I am loading the model. Why should I load a model? Because model is a responsible person to save or insert the data, to get the data, something like, right? So we load the model. In a model, we have a method called save method, or anything save data. You can take your choice. If the method is a save data, you have to take the method in the model also. Save data method, same method name should be same. Otherwise, it is going to give you undefined function. Some error will be available there, guys. Whatever the method you have in the model, that method should be called something like this. This is all about model view architecture communication, guys. Now, I think if we can understand these flows, slowly we can enter into database communication. But I have to, before going to database communication, I have to talk about helpers and libraries also. Some of the predefined helpers are there, some of the predefined libraries are there, guys. Let us see how can we work with the predefined helpers as well as predefined libraries as well. That's what we will see in the upcoming session, guys. Next session, I will explain to you. So how can we work with the libraries? How can we, I have to give you some examples also. For example, form validation library, email library, how can we work with those libraries and all into our controller, right? Where can I load the libraries? Every predefined thing will be loaded into your controller only. That I will show you in the tomorrow session, guys. Don't worry about it. That's all, guys. This is all about a model view, architecture, communication, right? Next session, we can discuss about libraries and helpers.